Nintendo dropped some crucial information for the Splatoon 3 fresh season. Earlier today, on February 16th, they dropped obviously the one promotional image for the fresh season, which features the Slusher Nuevo, the Crack-On Splat Roller, and a new charger, most likely the Firefin Splat Charger. But it also came with this one promotional magazine cover-like image that has Kraken on the front of it. So this confirms that Kraken is going to be in Splatoon 3, and this kind of threw off my plans for making a video about the kits that I want to see in Splatoon 3. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, these kits that I would like to see, which weapons from each class need the most. So let's dive right in. Now, first thing first, we have the shooters, but the problem is that every single shooter will now have a second kit besides 52 Gal with the fresh season update. But 52 Gal doesn't really need a new kit. So instead, I'm going to talk about the one weapon that I think needed a new kit the most, and that's 96 Gal. Now, 96 Gal has a default kit of Sprinkler and Inkfag, and it's a pretty unique niche support kit right now, but it would have been better if it has Splash Wall and Booyah Bomb, which is the Kenza 52 kit in Splatoon 2. And this is a really solid kit. It would obviously reduce the amount of spam from Booyah Bomb that happens just because 96 Gal paints less than the 52 Gal. So it would be a much better hybrid-like kit for 96 Gal. But unfortunately, with Kraken returning, they gave it Kraken. And while it's not a terrible kit for 96, it's not amazing either. Having Splash Wall would like to play behind that and play more supportive, more of a protected backline. But with Kraken, it has to be aggressive with it. And now that Kraken is a two-shot, that means ever more so that it needs to be up front. So I think that is not an amazing kit, and I would have rather have seen it with Booyah Bomb. But I think we can also talk about what else could work for another 96 kit that would work incredibly well, and that's going to be Splat Bomb and Booyah Bomb. Splat Bomb's a really great Pokeball Bomb, and obviously we know how good Booyah Bomb is. So that is going to be it for the shooter section. Let's move on to the semi-automatics. So for the semi-automatics, let's talk about H3. And we're talking about H3 because it is in desperate need of a new kit because it only has Point Sensor Tacticooler right now. And Point Sensor is not a good special for H3. It doesn't help it in any way to get chip damage to support the team. It's just not good on H3. Well, yes, Point Sensor is a good, supportive sub where, everybody in your team now knows the location of anybody who swims into it. It doesn't help H3 on its own. And Tacticooler is not great for it either because it's not a full support weapon and it doesn't want to play a full backline role. So for H3, I'm going to give it Splash Wall Trizuka at 190p. 190p specifically because the decrease in the points for special will help it be able to pump out more Trizukas. This is going to be a really nice, long distance, longer pressure kit than I think H3 has really ever had in the past because Splash Wall, like with the 96 Gal or with the 52 Gal, it can throw a wall and protect itself to be able to pressure opponents, and the Trizuka is just a really nice long-range special in Splatoon 3. And this kit is a hybrid between the Splatoon 1D and the Splatoon 1 Cherry, which is a really unique kit, and I think it would work really well. And for the rollers, let's talk about Dynamo. There was a data mine a while back for Splatoon 3 that brought up that Splatomatic and Dynamo both have their Neo and Gold variants in the game, respectively. They're somewhere in the game's files, so we know that Gold Dynamo is going to exist hopefully sometime soon, but it's not this season for some reason. The only thing that might hint at Gold Dynamo being in the game is there are a couple of table turf cards at the very bottom of this magazine cover, and it looks like the fourth card might be Dynamo Roller, but I'm not entirely sure. So we're just going to assume that Dynamo is not going to be in the fresh season, and it's going to get Burst Bomb, Booyah Bomb. Now this kit doesn't reference anything in the past, and I really hope Nintendo abandons the idea of referencing previous kits because it's not going to work well in Splatoon 3 if previous weapons keep getting their old kits. It's not going to work well. So Burst Bomb is just an amazing sub on Dynamo with the chip damage that it can apply. It also helps it move better, and we know how good it was with Booyah Bomb in Splatoon 2 on the Kenza kit. Next up are the chargers, and the charger that needs a new kit the most is Swiffer. Swiffer struggles a lot right now because it doesn't have a really strong kit. Well, Big Bubbler, as its special, is pretty decent on Swiffer, as it allows you to place it on tower, and then you can have that pressure with Swiffer. It has Point Sensor as its sub, and that is not a super strong sub. So instead, we're going to give it Suction Bomb and Crab Tank or Inkjet at 190p. Suction is an affordable sub on Swiffer, and it was on its fresh kit in Splatoon 2. Crab sets up well for where Swiffer wants to play. Swiffer kind of wants to play where Splatoon would set up Crab Tank. So if you play a Swiffer, you're already in a pretty good position to pop a Crab Tank if you know how to position that well, which is really huge. And then Inkjet was on its fresh kit in Splatoon 2, which worked really well for Swiffer. So I think those kits would be really strong on Swiffer. For Slushers, I want to talk about Slusher. But we already know that Slusher is getting its Nuevo kit for the fresh season. But I don't think Nintendo's going to be revealing the kits because they dropped Kraken. And then obviously they've been talking about all the new DLC stuff on Twitter. So for Slusher, I would really like its kit to be Burst Bomb and Whale 5.1. This is kind of a new kit, but obviously the Burst Bomb comes from its vanilla kit in Splatoon 2. And Burst Bomb is just really good on Slusher for the chip damage. It's also super affordable. Now, Whale is also huge chip damage for Slusher because you can pop it up close and then rush opponents. And if they've already taken one hit from Whale, it essentially makes Slusher a two-shot at that point, which is really strong for it. Now for Splatlings, let's talk about Ballpoint. Ballpoint was the most requested weapon from you guys when I asked you on Twitter what weapons you wanted to see get new kits, and Ballpoint was easily the most by a long shot. And for Ballpoint, we're giving it Squid Beacon and Big Bubbler or Tacticooler. Big Bubbler is just a really nice supportive special that you could place on tower, and then Ballpoint can just kind of be a nice presence on the tower, and it can provide really long range pressure and protect itself better than like a Hydra or Heavy can because it doesn't have something to protect itself on tower. Tacticooler is also a really good support special because of the run speed up buff that it would get, so you don't have to run a whole lot of run speed because you can get Tacticooler pretty fast on Ballpoint. And it just also supports your team because you can set up in mid, and most of your teammates will be there anyway to benefit off the Tacticooler. For blasters, let's talk about Rapid Blaster. Rapid Blaster is in a really weak spot right now, having Ink Mine and Triple Ink Strike. However, it was used at 20XX this past weekend, which is really surprising considering it has a super weak sub. But since it's getting a new kit in the fresh season, I would like that kit to be Torpedo and Crab Tank or Kraken. Torpedo was a really good sub for it in Splatoon 2, and it benefited off the combos so good. And then Crab Tank would be a really nice, just long-range pressure special for it. It's also kind of just a better baller. Obviously, it doesn't explode like Baller did, but Crab Tank can't be shredded as fast as Baller was in Splatoon 2, which is really good for it. And then, again, that long-range pressure. And if not Crab Tank, like I said, Kraken would also be a really good special for Rapid because it allows it to get in close, possibly cause distraction, get some kills, and they can also, if it's done one hit with Kraken, now that we know it's a two-shot, and then Kraken runs out, you can just follow that up with a fast shot from the Rapid Blaster. Now, I don't know how much end lag it will have, but I think that could be a pretty good combo if that ends up being the case. For brushes, we all know Octobrush needs a new kit because Inkbrush got a new kit in the chill season, and that kit's gonna be Torpedo Inkjet. Torpedo would also be a really good sub on Octobrush because it helps when sharking. Brushes and some rollers like to shark underneath ledges, so having Torpedo to toss above the ledge to see if anybody's there would be really good. And if your opponent doesn't shoot at the Torpedo, it'll explode and cause chip damage, which is really good for Octobrush because you can just spam the 0 button beneath that ledge and hopefully get that kill. And then Inkjet, you can place it in a really aggressive spot with an Octobrush, just how it likes to play Zipcaster super aggressively. You get in close, and then you just can kind of be behind your opponents with Zipcaster. You can kind of do the same thing with Inkjet, which is why I think it would work really well on Octobrush. Now, for Duallys, we all know that Tetra needs a new kit. I don't care what you say about Dually Squelchers needing a new kit, it's Tetras. If you know of Chase247, you might have seen his video on giving a new kit to every single Dually in the game. It's his dream kit. And his dream kit for Tetras was Burst Bomb Trizuka, and I fully agree. This is probably one of the best kits that Tetra could get. Burst Bomb is really good for chip damage on it, essentially making it a 3-shot instead of a 4-shot. And then Trizuka is really good long-range pressure, so you don't have to play as aggressively with Tetras and have to be in your opponent's base dying all the time. You can hang back a little bit more, obviously still looking for kills, but you can play a little bit more safe so you can farm for Zuka to get that really good long-range pressure. For Brellas, we all know it's Undercover. Undercover has always been the worst Brella since Splatoon 2. It always has gotten one of the worst subs in the game and one of the worst specials in the game as well. So we're going to give Undercover Torpedo and Big Bubbler. This is reference to its Kenza kit in Splatoon 2. Torpedo was really strong on it because of the chip damage and combos that you could do with it. And then also, Big Bubbler would be really good for team support because you could set it up in the middle of zone and splat zones, and your team can kind of force your opponents out of an area because you have Big Bubbler in the center of zone. It would also work really well in tower control because, you know, you can place Big Bubbler in tower. Putting it in front of the clam basket, I think, just worked really well in an aggressive but supportive way for Undercover. And then moving on to the first of the 2 new weapons in Splatoon 3, we're going to talk about Stringers, more specifically the Tri-Stringer. Reflux is in a pretty good spot right now with Curling Bomb and Tenna Missiles, but Tri-Stringer needs a new kit that can help it get more kills and be more viable and have a better niche in the game. So I'm going to give it Burst Bomb Inkjet. Burst Bomb is a huge chip damage sub that gets really amplified by Tri-Stringer also being able to do chip damage as the main weapon. And then Inkjet is its special. You can place it in a backline position compared to Octobrush where you place it in frontline position. You can keep Tri-Stringer back and pop Inkjet and then push forward with that, getting a really good off angle. And your recall is in a safe spot because you're a backline weapon, which I think would be really good. And then secondly, for the new weapon classes in Splatoon 3 are Splatanas. And let's talk about Splatana Wiper. Splatana Stamper's in a really good spot right now with Burst Bomb. Zipcaster is probably one of the best kits in the game. It's a really good meta counter weapon right now. But Wiper just needs something that can help it be more aggressive because Ultra Stamp is not it. So Fizzy Bomb and Kraken is going to be its kit. Fizzy Bomb is a really good combo tool for Wiper, and then also just allows it to move better because you can just toss one forward and swim through, which I think would be really good on Wiper. And then Kraken is really good for aggressive distractions in enemy territory. You can just kind of just exist in enemy territory, and they can't really do anything about you since you're invincible during Kraken, and they can't do anything about it. So it's just a really good distraction special on Wiper, and I think that'd just be a super strong kit. So those are all the kits I have to go over today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you for submitting your suggestions on Twitter. You can follow me there at McBragonsDraws. It supports me a ton, helps out a lot. And also, don't forget to like and subscribe on this video. It helps out a ton. You have no idea how much support just liking a video gives to the channel. Even just watching the video all the way through is really supportive to my channel as well. You can follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/McBragon for live streams most weekends and any other days I have off from school. So once again, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.